Under my father's careful guidance, life across 6 kingdoms was surprisingly manageable. I endured North's frozen silence, provoked little Gil until he exploded, tormented gentle M, forced Val into traditions he didn't understand. With Riv, we remained politely distant, and with Grey, well, that required no explanation. A month had 30 days. Divided evenly, each king received 5. Between swords, horses, and endless roads, I was left with 3 or 4 days unaccounted for. Those days, I made an effort to be seen. The rest, I survived by being ill. Feigning sickness worked well. North, Gil, and Val never visited. M and Grey, unfortunately, cared deeply about my health. Thankfully, doctors are loyal to gold. Riv was different. He sat beside my bed, pressed his fingers to my forehead, then calmly reached under the blankets and pulled out the heating stone I'd hidden there. "Go wherever you like," he said. "There's no need for theatrics." Riv always seemed one step ahead. I asked my father what I should do. He only shrugged. "A marriage is an alliance," he said. "If the king of Riverwind already sees the truth, what would exposing it accomplish? Forcing a choice would only weaken House of Vale." Riv's discretion, it seemed, saved me effort. Half a year passed like this. 6 kingdoms, rotating crowns, and a body constantly on the verge of collapse. Then Ashenfall settled its internal war. My father summoned me home from Greyhold. "Daughter," he said calmly, "the 7th has arrived." I did the math, 4 days each. An impossible schedule. My father sighed. "If we refuse Ashenfall, we isolate him. And in this world, you may dislike a king, but you never isolate one." It was unfortunate. Losing a day with Grey was a cost I hadn't planned for. But then again, I had never planned for a 7th crown at all. Ashenfall combined 2 ceremonies into one, a coronation and a wedding, efficiency in its most ruthless form. The new king wore black. Not ceremonial black, the kind that absorbs light. His gaze was sharp, his presence oppressive. When he took my wrist, it wasn't possessive, it was decisive. Step by step, he led me up the stone stairs. At the summit, I turned and nearly lost my balance. Of course, all 6 kingdoms had come to witness. 6 kings. Anyone would falter facing that many husbands at once. Fortunately, they believed in the story of 7 daughters. All except Riv. He stood calmly among them, one hand hidden in his sleeve, 2 fingers curling toward me, just once, a silent acknowledgement. He knew. The banquet was held in Ashenfall's great hall. Ash sat beside me. The 6 kings were arranged below 3 on each side. Close enough to observe, I had planned to repeat old tactics. Offend Ash tonight. Be dismissed tomorrow. Clean, efficient. But with 6 witnesses present, suspicion would be fatal. So I behaved. I drank the broth, ate what Ash placed in my bowl. Obedient, attentive. After several rounds of wine, conversation became inevitable. And inevitably, it circled back to me. Little Gil spoke first. "House of Vale raises its daughters well," he said lightly. "This youngest one is remarkably quiet." I thought, same environment, same treatment. Perhaps the variable is you. North took a long drink. "At least yours didn't tell you that you were doomed." I hadn't expected that from him. Apparently, he understood metaphors after all. Avoided the discussion. "Gil didn't allow that. And you?" Gil pressed. "How is she in Emberfall?" Em smiled, gentle as ever. "Oh, she's fine," he said vaguely, "though she may dislike fish." I lowered my head, focused on my meal. Inside, I was laughing. Riv sat between M and Grey. He lifted his cup to hide the curve of his smile. Val refused to participate. He avoided Gil's gaze entirely and instead adjusted the fur collar beside him. "Aren't you warm?" he asked quietly. North tugged the fur closer. "Here, yes," he replied. Later, no. It was clear. He loved that collar more than most things. Gil, annoyed by Val's refusal to engage, turned his attention elsewhere. Toward Riv, toward Gray. Riv moved first. He raised his cup. To the king of Gilmere, he said calmly. Gil drank. Courtesy satisfied, the pressure shifted. It settled on Gray, the weakest kingdom, the least room to maneuver. Gray lowered his gaze, shoulders drawn slightly inward. He held his cup carefully. I find the daughter of House Vale, he said softly, deeply to my liking. Silence fell. Absolute. 5 kings stopped moving. You could hear the candles breathe. Gray hesitated, then looked up, confused, unsure what he had said wrong. Gil scanned the table, reading expressions. It was common knowledge across all kingdoms. The daughters of House Vale were distant, difficult to approach, not known for affection. And yet, Gray had spoken as if he had found something. The rest of them hadn't. Gil stared at Gray, disbelief sharp in his voice. You've shared a bed? My heart rose into my throat. Gray choked on his wine. He turned sharply aside, wide sleeve lifting to hide half his face. But his ears read enough to betray him. That reaction was answer enough. Riv tightened his grip on the wine jug. A smile tugged at his lips, not quite amusement. He rose, stepped beside Gray, and bent to refill his cup. It seems, Riv said lightly, the crown prince of Greyhold has been exceptionally fortunate. My fingers closed too tightly around my fork. The bowl tipped, crashed to the floor. The sound echoed louder than it should have. Every gaze turned. I lowered my head until it nearly touched the table, pretending to be very occupied with nothing at all. Ash remained perfectly composed. He glanced sideways at me, thoughtful, presumably mistaking restraint for modesty. He dismissed me gently, told me to retire and wait. I obeyed immediately. In the antechamber, I had just loosened my robes when the door slammed shut. A hand covered my mouth from behind. Another locked around my waist. Lyra Vale, a voice murmured near my ear. Marrying 7 kingdoms is one thing. Failing to treat them equally? That's a mistake. He pressed closer, breath warm against my skin. Tell me, Riv whispered. What do you think would happen if the remaining 6 knew? Of course, Riv. This was Ashenfall. Resistance would be unwise. So I softened my grip around his wrist and let my voice turn delicate. Oh, I said lightly. How frightening. Riv recoiled at once. Disgusted, he pulled his hand away. I turned my head slightly, just enough to see him from the corner of my eye. King of Riverwind, I said calmly. If I dared to marry them all, what difference does one more opinion make? My father had taught me well. Never reveal where you break. Riv's gaze sharpened. North is cold. Gil is volatile. Val avoids conflict. Aim doesn't compete. He paused. Ashenfall enforces law without mercy. Your prince, he added, cannot protect you. He smiled then, calculated. 7 choices, he said. An impossible selection. And yet you chose the weakest kingdom of all. His voice dropped. Tell me, was it because he'd die first? So you could remarry?